Hello again, and welcome to Marketing with Purpose. This is Monica Pitts, and today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite things, actually, websites, because I am like a website girl from way back. I started building websites. My first introduction to building websites was actually when I was in high school back in the 90s. And for some of you, that's going to make me seem really old. And for the rest of you, it's going to make me feel like some type of spring chicken. But that was my first adventure into it. And I have been building websites ever since. That's how we got our start at May Create, was building websites and really understanding how to build something that could both connect with an audience and that's easy for our clients to use. Now, having said that, I am a website girl. I love solving problems through websites, solving problems online, solving communication problems through technology. Love it. I love to do that. But there are some problems that your website just can't fix. So I want to talk to all of you guys today who are thinking about getting a new website. And I want you to listen to these problems. And I want you to think to yourself, is this the problem that I'm trying to solve with my website right now? Because if you are, then there's actually another solution to your problem. And a website may not be the first thing on your list. It needs to move down the line.
If you're a natural-born marketer, you're one lucky son of a gun. If you're like most people, marketing, especially online marketing, is about as appealing as standing in a police lineup. The May Create team of creatives has transformed websites and digital marketing from craptastic to fantastic since 2005. Our podcast, Marketing with Purpose, makes sense of marketing so you can make purposeful decisions instead of carrying on with the same old crap you've been doing. And now your host, Monica Pitts, founder of May Create, with another episode on how to make your marketing not suck.
So here's a crazy auxiliary example to kind of illustrate this point. My husband and I just spoke with a home remodeler because we were like, okay, well, we need to remodel the main level of our house, and we're going to start with our master bathroom. And we get this guy in our house, and he starts walking around, and he's like, you know what? I don't think that you need to start with your master bathroom. I know that's what you want to do because you want a new master bathroom. You want something that's shiny and pretty and awesome. But you've got this bathroom upstairs that has a leak in it and you can't use it at all. And that's the other main bathroom in your house. When we tear apart your master bathroom, you don't have a bathroom anymore. You don't have any place where everybody can all go get clean. You're kind of quite literally going to be hosed off in the yard. So while you want to fix with the shiny, pretty thing, that master bathroom, and make it this oasis, what you have to do first is you have to remodel the bathroom upstairs, or at the very least, fix it, because it's leaking and you can't use it, and you're going to ruin the entire ceiling, if not more, in your house if you don't fix it, because you're going to have to use it when we remodel your master bath. Your website's a lot like that. You look at it and it's this shiny, pretty object and it's so amazing, and you think, this is going to solve the problem. This is going to help me better market my organization. It's going to bring in donors. It's going to connect with people. But there are certain things that your website just can't fix. And we're going to talk about them today. Let's get down to business. Now, before I jump on this soapbox, I want to remind you that you can go out to podcast.maycreate.com and get a nicely formatted blog post over this podcast. It's not just show notes, it's everything that we talk about broken into everything from bulleted lists with pictures and all kinds of greatness. So if you are actually interested in reading this instead of just listening to it, head on over to podcast.maycreate.com and check it out. So 7 problems your website can't fix. Number 1 is a disconnect between development and marketing. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, I would know if there was a disconnect between development and marketing. Some of you guys are thinking, well, I would totally know if there was a disconnect between development and marketing because I am both development and marketing. I do it all. But here's the deal. You need to actually look into the words that you're saying in your marketing, everything down to the photos that you use and the way that you ask, and then look at the way that you talk about your organization and think about the words that you physically say to donors. Look at the things that are on your website and ask yourself, do they match the things that you talk about in your social media? Do they match the conversation that development has with potential donors? It all has to match. It is so easy to get disconnected. It's very easy for your marketing to be like, hey, we're having an event, come hang out with us. Or for it to say, look at all these awesome things that we're doing right now, when what your development is saying is, we need your help. We need you. We need you to volunteer. We need you to make donations because we're short on funds. While everything else is, hey, come to this event and, oh, we're totally amazing over here and we're doing great things, but nothing about it says we need. So those things have to match. Now, the way that I think of our sales and marketing team is I am, as the marketing team, support for my salesperson. I'm her support. Everything that I tell you right now needs to be cohesive with what she tells you in the future. So our stories have to be the same. Our advice has to be the same. It needs to be together. It needs to be a comprehensive message so that every time that you come in contact with my organization, you're getting the same tonality, the same attitude, the same servitude that you got the very first time that you came in contact with us. So your website can't fix that disconnect. It can't do it. The second thing that your website cannot fix is a lack of vision. And when I say lack of vision, I mean a non-existent marketing plan. Your website is a part of your marketing plan. It is not your marketing machine. It's not just suddenly going to go live and have people running to it and contacting you and making donations. It's not going to do that. It's not going to make a sudden influx of donations for you. You have to have a solid plan behind it and people working to push that energy into your website and get people to take the actions you need them to take. I get very, very scared when people come to me and ask me to build them a website and they have no marketing plan whatsoever to promote their service, their organization, or their website. I don't want to build their website for them because I just don't want to take their money, because there's no way that that website can be successful if you don't have a way to drive traffic to it. So yeah, you got to have a vision. You need to have a marketing plan. Your website is not going to fix it. There is not just going to be some sudden influx of online donations because you set up a donation form on your website. It's not happening. The third thing that your website is not going to fix is a wishy-washy marketing message. Believe it or not, some of the most wishy-washy stories and marketing messages come from the people who've been around for a really, really long time. They may have had like an amazing champion that was once the executive director or in charge of fundraising or development for them. And that person built up all this energy for this organization, and they have been riding on the coattails of that energy for a very long time. And when that energy starts to dip, they think, well, we must need a new website. But the deal is, if you are not in tune with your donors, your volunteers, your target markets, then you can't connect with them. You can't connect with them personally, and you're not going to be able to connect with them through your website either. It doesn't matter how beautiful I make your website if you're not telling people what they need to hear to connect with you. One clear sign of a wishy-washy message is if you ask a volunteer, what does your organization do? And then you ask the person who answers the phone, what does your organization do? And then you ask the director of development, what does your organization do? And all three of them give you different answers. Wishy-washy. It's not consistent. You have to have the same story told throughout. So this is kind of like that first example that I gave you. When marketing and development are not on the same page, well, it can funnel throughout the entire organization. And if your marketing message is not fine-tuned and you haven't worked on it to really connect with the people that you need to talk to, it doesn't matter. Like I said, your website can be beautiful, but it's not going to fix that problem. You need to go back, go left, and really figure out who you're talking to. So that way, when you build your new website, it will actually connect with them. And then you need to go back and you need to educate all those different people that are points of contact in your organization and share with them how you want to project your energy and what your message is now so it's consistent across the board. Another thing that your website will not fix and cannot fix is number 4, which is poor processes. Now, it's interesting because if you are living within the processes, it's not always easy to identify the things that aren't working. But processes within an organization or within a business are all of those interactions that you have with the individuals that you serve, how you reach out to and thank your donors, how you work through your marketing processes, the way that you interact with your board. I mean, everything down to the way that you answer the phone and take phone messages. These are all different processes. So sometimes things get bumpy and you don't realize that it's actually processes within your organization that are broken and not your website. Like I said, that website, it's like the master bath. It's like this shiny Band-Aid. Looks so great, but it can't fix the things that are not working within the organization. So I'm going to use an example of a business for this one because it's a personal example. I was looking for a place to board my dogs last summer because I was going down to the lake of the Ozarks for a business conference, and then I was going to stay down there for the weekend, but I couldn't take my dogs with me to the hotel, and I didn't want to drive back and pick them up for the weekend. So I was looking for this place to board my dogs, and I called this lady, and I'm like, wow, she is so with it. She's just very personable. I can tell she really cares about these animals. She says that she's got a place for my dogs to stay. All right, I'm all in. I mean, I've never seen it. She seems like she's got a pretty good website. Like her website looked better than anybody else's. So I was excited. I thought that I had a great place. I thought I had a place that I could go to over and over and over again. Now I pull up to this place and I was like, whoa, this is probably not what I thought it was going to be, because the website showed this pretty nice facility and what I was at was a house. And I walk up and there's like this kid that comes out of the house. I don't know who he is. And he's like, oh yeah. Oh, your dogs are going to stay here. Okay, cool. And he's looking through the different registration books that they have. He doesn't find my dogs in any of the books. And he's like, well, I mean, if Sheila said that your dogs are staying here, then they're staying here. Okay, cool. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then he charges me a different price than what she said she was going to charge me. And I was like, oh, wait a second. This isn't what she said. She said this. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, then I'll just charge you that, do you have a check? And I was like, no, I don't have a check. I didn't bring a checkbook with me. I didn't realize that I couldn't pay with a card. And he's like, oh, yeah, we don't take cards. And I was like, oh, well, crap. How am I going to pay you? Oh, don't worry about it. Sheila will probably just invoice you. It's no big deal. So then I'm like, my husband looks at me and he goes, so you're going to leave the dogs here? And I'm like, I don't think I have a choice. I don't have time to take them back home. Hopefully I come back and my dogs are still here. I was literally not sure that I was going to come back to my dogs, but I just didn't have any other choices. So I come back and I'm like, hey, did you figure out any payment methods or anything like that? Oh no, it's cool. Sheila she said that she'd just invoice you. I'm like, okay, cool. Fortunately, my dogs are still there. They're a little shaken, but still there. And Now, first he tried to give me back the wrong dogs. And I was like, yeah, those aren't mine. Mine look like this. One of them's black and white and she's a pointer. And the other one's small and brown and she's a Havanese. And they're together in the same crate. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And he goes back. And fortunately, he had my dogs and he gave me the right ones the second time around. But whoa. Okay, so this company had a great website. They had a great person answering the phone. Then what happened? Processes blowing up, right? I thought that this was going to be great. I thought this was a place that I could send my friends when they needed to board their dogs at the lake. I thought it was some place that I could use over and over again from my initial interactions. And then things just started to fall apart, and it wasn't what I expected, and they didn't meet my expectations. And I will never, ever, ever, ever leave my dogs there again, ever. Not even if you paid me. And you know what? That lady never sent me an invoice, and I mailed her a check. So she could have not even gotten paid. She could have boarded my dogs and not gotten paid, and she would have wondered why there wasn't money coming into her business. She could have had return business from me and from my friends, but she got none of that. And those are the same things that can be going on in any business or any organization. So before you think, I need to have a great website, think about, could it be a process that's actually holding me back within my organization that's not allowing us to move further along? All right, so number 5, the 5th thing that a website can't fix is an inability to change. Right now, especially right now, there are just so many changes that we are being forced to make. And your website is not going to fix an inability for you to adjust. If you have to change the way that you communicate back and forth with your target market and with your audience, a website may certainly be part of that adjustment, but it is not the whole thing. I don't know if ever again nonprofits are going to be able to be completely dependent on event marketing. We're going to have to find different things, and we're going to have to find solutions to communicate back and forth, and they're not all on a website. So if you're not capable of adjusting to the new momentum, then a new website isn't going to fix it. It's back to those processes and all the things around it. Now, I don't want to jump down a rabbit hole here, but there are a lot of things that people get emotionally tied to within their organizations, even in their marketing. Sometimes it's things like a name that never made any sense to begin with, a tagline that doesn't match up or doesn't even say anything. It could be your logo that is completely nuts and doesn't make any sense with what you're doing. I mean, my kids love their blankets unconditionally, and some people love their logos unconditionally, no matter how frayed or discolored they are. And now I'm not suggesting that you go out and you change your logo just to change your logo, because rebranding your organization is a whole nother bag of worms. And anytime that I can avoid rebranding, I absolutely avoid it. But what I'm suggesting is that as an organization, it's your responsibility to take an adult look at what you're holding on to with an emotional attachment that could be holding you back. Because just jumping on Facebook isn't going to suddenly reach a millennial audience. But shedding outdated beliefs about how your organization should run and interact with those you serve, it might help you and make you move past the spot where you're in now. So just doing things because they've always been done that way isn't a good enough reason to keep doing it just that way. So an inability to change is not going to be solved by your website. Now, having said that, I know there are certainly times with clients that I realize that if they can get this website sorted and get it done, that they will have enough trust in me that I can move them on to the other things that are also holding them back. I just don't want to dive into all those other things yet before they have enough trust in me to move them forward. And I know that I can give them the experience that they need building this website with us, that it can facilitate the next step in our relationship, which might be a complete overhaul in their marketing or their brand or their logo, God forbid, right? And so if you've got a sticky board and you know that you need to start doing more online communications with your audience, but they won't budge, and the only thing that they'll let you start doing is a website, well, by heavens, you start with that website, but know that it is not going to fix an inability to change, but it can be a step in the right direction. What do they call that? A monkey's paw? You know what a monkey's paw is? It's like that little thing that you do to get you to the big thing. And my husband was actually explaining to me what an actual monkey's paw is. It is when on a ship, they would have to get a big piece of rope to them, but they couldn't drag it over. So they would take a rock and loop it around a small piece of rope, and then you throw the small piece of rope over to the big piece of rope and you tie it around, and then you drag the big piece of rope in with the small piece of rope. There you go. Your history lesson, or maybe your sailing lesson of the day, compliments of Mr. Michael Pitts. And the last thing that your website cannot fix, and this is a tough one, it's a really sad one, is it cannot fix cultural bankruptcy. People who work in a cultural vacuum know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like your office mates, your boss, even work itself is like an energy vampire, and it just like sucks the life out of you. You don't even remember why you started or what your purpose is. It is just yucky. And there are so many prescriptions for cultural problems within a company. None of them are quick. Nothing is easy, and they're certainly not included in your website development. So if you and the people that you work with don't believe in what you're doing or have a passion for what you're doing and a respect for each other, it's not going to get it fixed. It's poison. And that poison seeps out into everything that you do, and it wouldn't even, your website wouldn't even turn out right. And no one is going to want to jump on board with your organization and contribute or volunteer, because it shines through, and they will know. So you have to fix that first before you even move in to anything else. I hope that you're not in that spot. I hope that you are not trying to fix any of these things with your website. I really hope not. I hope that you have an amazing organization with a steadfast marketing plan, with processes that you continually evaluate that absolutely work for you. I hope you have all those things. I really do. I just felt like I needed to have this conversation with you in case you were thinking about a website and trying to fix something that's actually totally unfixable with a website. So the 6 things that your website can't fix are: number 1, a disconnect between development and marketing. Number 2, a lack of vision or a non-existent marketing plan. Number 3, a wishy-washy marketing message. Number 4, poor processes. Number 5, an inability to change. And number 6, cultural bankruptcy. Now, if you liked having this crazy and heartfelt conversation with me and you want to connect in other places, I do have a Facebook group that is just for nonprofits. It is Nonprofit Marketing with Purpose. You can look it up. Now, it's a private Facebook group, but I would be very happy to have you. And you can always hang out with us on our regular Facebook page at May Create Design. At May Create is all of our social handles. If you're feverishly planning a website and you're really not sure what to do, I wrote an ebook just for you. It is called Planning a Winning Website. So go out and download that ebook. It has a workbook that comes with it and a whole body of text. It will take you through all of the activities that we do and instill in our process when we plan a website for our clients. So with that, thank you so very much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And I wish you the best on your website journey and in the journey that you're going through with your organization. Once again, my name is Monica Pitts. Class dismissed. Go forth and market with purpose.
Thanks again for listening to Marketing with Purpose. Head over to maycreate.com, MAYECREATE.com. Yeah, you heard me right, MAYEcreate.com for podcast notes and more resources to grow your business. Don't let your marketing suck. Get your pride on, market with purpose.